Hey everybody, Aaron here from Comic Booked. Jumping back into Dark Crisis, DC Comics big event from this past year, Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, and we are in month 4, so this would be September 2022. All the books that came out for that period, if you look at the header card, there's a list of all of the books that in the order that you need to read them, and that's how I've been reviewing them. So up to now, we've gone through 3 months, well, basically 4 months worth of the the story, right? We started out with the death of the Justice League in Justice League 75. We went to Aquaman number 6, which was kind of a story, ending, and then all of a sudden, hey, Aquaman and the Justice League are dead. To the Free Comic Book Day Dark Crisis Zero Special Edition, and then the official Justice League Road to Dark Crisis book, and Dark Crisis number 1. And this was the month of May, I believe. Dark Crisis Young Justice number 1, and Dark Crisis number 2 was in. I'm sorry, that was June stuff. This is July. Dark Crisis number 2, along with Dark Crisis World Without a almost did it again. World Without a Justice League, Superman number 1, and then Dark Crisis Young Justice number 2, The Flash 784. One book I did miss was The Flash 783, which was in the month of the previous. But I just didn't get a copy of it at my local shop. Didn't have it, and I ordered one, but it hasn't gotten here yet. So, Dark Crisis number 3 we just went through in the last video, and that was the books from August. Dark Crisis World Without a Justice League Green Lantern number 1, which was about John Stewart. Dark Crisis Young Justice number 3, and finally Flash 785. As the Flashes team up to find the Flash so that they can flash and flash and flash and flash flash and save everybody in a flash. So yeah, that's that so far. That's the story so far. So now we are jumping into Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths number 4. So in this book, I mean, we have a lot going on. Hal Jordan has entered the world of John Stewart, and in doing so, he kind of screws everything up in a way, but then the Flash shows up and helps him escape. So that was kind of the wrap up of the end of that story, which kind of carried over from 3. Then Black Adam has left the remnants of the Justice League, the new Justice League, which is like Mr. Terrific, Superboy, and a bunch of other Catman, other characters that have come together. Cyborg being one of them. Nightwing is watching over Beast Boy, who got shot in the head by Deathstroke when Deathstroke attacked the Titan's Tower. So it's just a lot of fallout. So this is kind of the everybody's head hanging low and nobody knows what to do. The Green Lantern, Golden Age Green Lantern, showed up to kind of comfort Nightwing, and what he's like, I can't believe this happened. I can't believe they let this happen. And he's like, hey, this things happen, and we just have to be who we are, and we have to be the heroes that we need to be. And sometimes we can't save everybody. And it's interesting. So Black Adam left them, took off. He went to the Legion of Doom to say, hey, maybe I need your help. And they've kind of rebelled against the whole thing going on with Deathstroke, because Deathstroke used the darkness to harness all of these villains to fight for him, and they don't want to do that anymore. So Luthor and the rest of the Legion of Doom, Grodd, and everybody just left. But now Black Adam comes to them and goes, hey, we've got to fight this war, and I need your help. And they're, of course, they're not real willing to fight to do anything good, but it's to save the planet, and they live on the planet, and so it's a little bit selfish as well, right? So we've got that going on. But right in the middle of negotiations, Deathstroke and his Army of Darkness, not nearly as funny as the Bruce Campbell movie from the 90s, but that army busts in, and they all are wearing the chains of the darkness, as we saw in the early issues, with the army that Pariah had harnessed to fight against the Justice League, and ultimately used his powers to destroy them. So you have a couple cuts to Pariah as he is watching all of this happen, and yes, a crisis is being created, and blah 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 blah. So Flash and Hal Jordan have cut over to another world, gotten away from the John Stewart world into the Batman world, and the Batman world is kind of a steampunky world, which is interesting, and they're duking it out now with this Batman version. Meanwhile, Golden Age Green Lantern has led all of them down to Magical Vault to see a picture of Zatanna and kind of talk about magic. And Detective Chimp shows up, and he's drunk, of course, because his friends died and nobody cares. John Constantine shows up as well as the two different Swamp Things that are around. So it's kind of, how can we help? How can we use magic? How can we defeat this? How can we stop the darkness? It's all kind of like just talking about things now. So all the battles really going on between Black Adam and the Legion of Doom, and the onslaught from Deathstroke, who is getting more and more corrupted by the darkness as days go by here. So in the end, though, the crisis is created, and we have a great final picture there of the hand. A new multiverse was born. So now we'll see what happens in the next issue as the multiverse is reborn, and what that's going to mean for the DC universe. So interesting stuff. It's picked up. I was not real sure. I'm always concerned that these events are just like it's always a push to make money, obviously, but it's always good when there's a true story behind it, a good story. So next up this month, Dark Crisis World Without a Justice League, Wonder Woman, which also includes a Martian Manhunter story. Wonder Woman story is just kind of typical Wonder Woman. Obviously, she's in her gold garb. She's the hero of everything, and she, of course, they have in the world that she is locked into. There's a female president who's running for her second term. She takes her to the Themyscira to become an honorary Amazon. That way, the power of the greatest country in the world is now in the hands of a sister. Ooh, okay. And I guess that can be meant two different ways, because she is a female black president, and she is also an Amazon. So, double sister, right? Anyway, whatever. So, blah, 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 Well of Souls. There's a whole big thing where it's like Krypton exploding all over again, basically, when the Amazons decide that they're done with this world of man, and they launch themselves in a spaceship to find another world. And Wonder Woman decides to stay because, she has to be the savior, has to be the salvation of the world of man. So that's kind of, in the end, Dr. Psycho is there with her, and he's like, you need this. You thrive on being the salvation for all this. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but you work for me. So anyway, Martian Manhunter story is interesting. It's kind of a noir detective series story with a splash of color. It's pretty interesting, trying to solve a crime, and the murderer ends up being himself, only the regular version of himself, and not this squiddy-faced version of himself that's in this. It's, I don't know. It's an interesting story. Dark Crisis Young Justice versus everyone in this episode, or this issue. That's basically it. It's just a big all-out battle as Superboy, Impulse, and whoever else is there, Robin, are there duking it out. Cassie is with Sissy up in space, and there's some things going on up there. It's just really weird. Boil it down to the end. Pops in this little imp, and it's Mickey Mxyzptlk, Mr. Mxyzptlk's son. Which now you all have to think about, little gangly Mr. Mxyzptlk actually having sex, which is weird. Anyway, I'm sure there's memes out there, or there's probably a Reddit dedicated just to that. Anyway, so that's it for this month. This was the month of September 2022. I'll be getting into the October books, and then the November books, and then finally wrap up with the last 2 books of the series, which will be the Dark Crisis number 7 and Dark Crisis Warzone. So those books, as soon as I have all that read. So thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Leave some questions if you're not sure what's going on. Go back and watch my previous videos if you would. And I appreciate that. It does help out the channel as we try to build up. When we get up to 100 or so views, 150 views regularly on these episodes, I'll start looking at giveaways. I've got a ton of stuff to give away, but I can't really do a giveaway when I'm only getting 20 or 30 people watching. So I appreciate all the views, all the likes, all the shares, all the subscribes, and please come back and watch some more. Thanks for watching.